that something else happened. I felt something. I broke down in front of 300 people, ran out, collapsed in the parking lot, and a guy came out, he picked me up, had me go in the prayer room. I got saved that day. He asked me questions, what I believed and everything, you know. I got saved that day, but I went half-hearted in. I figured that I could go 50% in and that was enough. I didn't have to give everything up for God. So I went half-hearted in, and nothing was really happening. I was okay, but I wasn't changed. After a while, I decided I wanted to test God and go ahead and give him 100%, see what happens. So I decided going 100% meant giving up everything. So everything to me was my personal belongings, which I cherished. I had necklaces piled around my neck. I thought they gave me powers and luck. If I lost one, I would spend the whole day looking for that necklace or that earring or whatever it might be. I had stupid little knickknacks everywhere that I also thought if I lost them, that I would lose some kind of power or luck. I'd have to find it. I threw it all away. I took all my necklaces off, threw them away. I had CDs that I'd collected since I was 13. From the Beatles to the nastiest thing you could ever imagine. I picked them all up, over 300 of them, threw them in the trash can. I took all my t-shirts with Halloween characters on them, you know, horror movies, bands, all this, in the trash can. Poured cat litter on top of it with water so I couldn't go in because I know myself and couldn't pick and choose at it. Tossed all this stuff. And then I started really giving God my, you know, really giving attention to God, you know, reading the Bible, praying, different praying, not asking why this, why that, you know, what can I do for you? What is it that you can do? How can you use me? You know, and he definitely started using me. My testimony started working, you know, I'm giving it to people that on the street and stuff, and they're receiving it. You know, I'm getting weird feelings when I'm talking to people. I was handing out Mighty Men cards. I handed out over like 300 of them. There's nobody here. But it's the seed of land. I actually went out to the mall with my wife one day, and we handed out a bunch of them. We were there from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Giving my testimony. Some people received it. I stood and talked with them. I've been doing all this stuff for God. I mean, look what he did. And it didn't, you know, it wasn't just like right then and there, like everything started happening like in one shot. Like it's gradual. It's like my music and stuff, I gave it away, and like he starts interacting with me, and then stuff that I never thought I would get rid of because I thought it was okay. I even had some pastors tell me, keep your earrings in, it's part of your testimony, it'll help you reach people that we can't. I was cool with that. It was an excuse. I started waking up and earrings are laying in my bed and they're pushing out of my ears. I kid you not. I mean, you know, I told this to a couple people before, like, I'm not here because I don't have stuff to do at home. You know, I have stuff I can do. You know, my wife could use me at home right now. There's a pile of dishes. I'm gonna have to do them when I get home. I'm here because I know something to be true that I didn't know was true before and didn't even believe. You know, this is it's real. This whole walk that I'm on, you know, what everybody's here for and everybody's listening, you know, about, you know, it's true. There is a God. Jesus is God. It's real. My earrings start falling out. The next thing I love tattoos. Love them. I even used to draw tattoos for tattoo parlors. They would pay me $50 for a slab of art. I love them. Out of nowhere. And I mean, I even had ideas like, I want to get scripture tattooed on me. Out of nowhere, I have the desire for tattoos is gone. It's completely gone. I want nothing to do with it. And that's not me. Just like me throwing my stuff away, that's not me. My earrings, after they start falling out, the ones that couldn't fall out, like the stuff that was screwed in my lips and stuff, I took them out. That's That's not me. That's influenced. That's God working in me, and it's happening day to day, week to week. It's something different all the time. I've even come to a part where, like, I'm thrown concerts and stuff, like Christian hip hop concerts, and even mingling with Christian rock and roll bands, or like, I talked to the girl that sings the Revelation song. I talked to her on Facebook. Like, Carrie Jo. This stuff is not me. It's not me at all. Doing what I'm doing right now, it's not me. I couldn't do this. When I found my dad dead, I got a bunch of ailments from it. I got depression, social anxiety, social phobia, people phobia, post-traumatic stress disorder, all these ailments which would make me not be able to stand here right now. I would be dripping sweat and about, ready to just find an exit. That I wouldn't even be able to talk. I'd be thinking about where the exit is to get out of here. I don't even take medicine for my anxiety or anything anymore. God took it, He fixed it. What the doctors said and tried to do by giving me medications to fix it, like Razapam and all this crap, it never really worked. God does. That's the ultimate physician right there. I kid you not. And what people are, people try to say, well, He doesn't do that for me, or anything like, well, what are you doing to have that happen? Are you giving in 100%? Because that's what we're here for. This isn't our permanent address. We're passing through. And as we're passing through, we should spread the good news to everybody, to bring them along on board. This is why we're here. And that's what I spend every day doing. I don't even watch TV anymore, and that I love. I don't even watch the news. And it's not my convictions pushing them off on you. Like I said, it's gradual. It's a gradual thing. But you get that 100% in, and you go in for God 100%, you'll start to see that out of nowhere, you're going to feel these odd feelings like, I don't want to do that anymore. And I don't know why, but I just don't have no urge for any of this stuff anymore.
Transition and talk about surrender. But as you do that, I want you just to think about this as I paint it for you. Imagine that from the day that you were born, you have inherited a pocket full of change. And imagine that this change was all that you were given to cover the entire cost of your life. Now, when I say the entire cost of your life, I mean all of life. Not only does this change need to sustain your physical needs, but also it has to cover the cost of your emotional, psychological, and spiritual needs as well. Now, I'm sure if this were to happen, you would soon discover that this small amount of change would not nearly be enough. Perhaps this would cause many of us, as a result of coming to this understanding, to take that little bit of change that we have and go out and buy as many delights as we possibly could with it, maybe some candy and some soda, to feel better about our situation at the moment. The candy is so fleeting that you would eventually come to hate the very taste of it, because it would remind you of the persistent sadness and poverty that you're in. But even so, perhaps, even though you come to hate this candy, you might keep buying it. Because even though it doesn't satisfy you, and you know that, it's the only thing you have to take your mind off of this depressing situation that you're in. So you keep buying it until all your money runs out. Some of you wouldn't squander a little bit of change on candy. Perhaps you would become way too fearful to do that. So fearful, in fact, that you would never let go of any of your change in fear that any spending would cause you to run out. Because you have never purchased anything, you would quickly waste away in the prison house of your own fears and anxieties. Some of you, realizing that this is just not enough change, you will frantically begin to search for more. So we spend all of your time and energy looking for more change. And from time to time, if you did this all the time, from time to time, you may find a quarter or a dime or a nickel or a penny. The happiness that you would experience from this would soon dwindle away as you came to the realization that this newfound coin is still not nearly enough. Imagine that one day someone comes up to you and asks you sincerely, when looking in your eyes, to give them all of your change. And in exchange, they promise you that if you were to do so, all of your needs would be fully provided for. You know that these coins in your pocket are never really enough to provide for all your needs, yet at the end of the day, they are all that you have. Imagine yourself in this situation and ask yourself, would I be willing to hand over these coins with the possibility that I would be taken care of for the rest of my life? Would this cause you to clutch onto these coins even harder? Of course, this is an imaginary scenario from which we have the benefit of being outside of the story looking in. It's always easier to answer questions like this when we are far removed from them. In all reality, are we really that far removed from the story? Don't we all find ourselves coming up short in life? As if we just don't have enough change in our pockets? Living in the United States, I think it's semi-safe to say that all of us in this room have had our physical needs met up until this point in our lives. What about our emotional and spiritual needs? What about our relational needs? What about the need that we all have to sense that we have a meaning and a purpose in this life? See, here in the United States, our poverty may look much different than it does in other places of the world, and I've seen poverty-stricken areas in other places of the world. Folks, our poverty certainly is a deep and real poverty. We may have food to eat, clothes to wear, roofs over our heads, but many of us even sitting in this room this evening, are starving for life, for meaning, for real relationships, and for purpose. I'll never forget a documentary I watched with Mother Teresa on her life. And I just remember being so blown away by this woman's devotion. If you don't know anything about her, she opened up what they call these houses for the dead. Basically, they took in people who were dying and nobody else would care for in the most poverty-stricken regions in the world, most famously in Calcutta, India. And as you're watching this, you're just like, man. But near the end of the documentary, she opens the same kind of house in the United States. And the interviewer is asking her, what are you doing here? I mean, the poverty isn't like these other places of the world. And I'll never forget what she said. She said something to the effect that she had seen the most poverty-stricken places in the entire world. But she has never seen poverty like she's seen it in the United States. The poverty is certainly different, she said, but it is very real. The people are depressed. They're cut off from life. They have no meaning. They wander day to day just existing and not even knowing what living is about. Oh, they are poverty-stricken as well, she said. So men, we are broke. But here it is, God is knocking at the door of our hearts, offering us this great paradoxical exchange. You surrender the change in your pocket, which is never enough, and you will never run out. Give up your life of selfish ambitions, and you will truly begin to live forever. Hand over your false gods of drugs, money, sex, reputation, education, good works, or material possessions, and you will have a relationship handed to you with the one and only true God who gives you life and meaning and purpose. Folks, in all reality, nothing is more real than our poverty that many of us experience on a daily basis. Yet we hold on to our change, trying to purchase things that we can never afford. We can't fit the bill of the abundant life. Not with what we have. But God promises us that if we hand our lives over to Him, He will provide for us. Now, please don't misunderstand me. The Bible doesn't promise us health, wealth, and prosperity as some of these televangelists would have us to believe. It doesn't promise us a safe or even a comfortable life, but it does promise us an abundant life here and now, and eternal life to come. By abundant life, the Bible means a meaningful and fulfilled life, a life full of joy and peace and purpose, a life which is full of God and self-fulfillment and loving relationships with other human beings. This is what life is all about. We've been tricked. Man, this is the life that we have all been searching for all along because we were created for it. The bad news is that we cannot afford this kind of life. It's too expensive for us. But the good news is that if we surrender over our feeble attempts to try to secure or purchase it or attain it on our own, God will give it to us freely. It's almost too good to be true. Perhaps that's why many of us don't believe it. Here's where we're at. The time has come for us to make a conscious decision. Are we going to continue to attempt to live off the change and the lint that we find in our pockets? Are we going to surrender our poverty over to God so that He can provide for us? I'll never forget the moment when this became an absolute reality for me.